Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 5 of LCS Breakdown. We don't have a ton going on this week, aside from just our games and preparing for next week. So, let's jump right into it. First off, reacting to best of threes. Um, Generally pretty successful, right? Day 1, where we had Team Liquid versus Fly and Dig versus C9. Full 3 games, both series, banger fucking day, and there was a lot going on in those games, so that's good. Day 2 was a little more disappointing in just the amount of games played, but also there were some results on that day as well. But let's talk about the first match, Team Liquid versus FlyQuest. So this one was pretty easily the best series of the weekend, I think. Um, Slightly unfortunate because it's the first one, but I mean, also kind of to be expected. This with just the teams that are playing. Um, Team Liquid is still looking like aggressive. They're still looking pretty strong, but they're still having a fair bit of like unclean moments. And it was actually FlyQuest making the series competitive by capitalizing on these moments of fuck uppery. It wasn't actually so much FlyQuest successfully looking like they were being what's the word proactive around the map. They were kind of just reacting to Team Liquid doing like silly shit, uh, mispositioning, hands diff every now and then, right? Um, Quad, the new mid laner, he looked okay. Like he looked fine. He didn't look like he was doing bad, but he didn't look like he was doing great either. He did get solo killed by APA in a slightly embarrassing fashion, but overall he was like pretty okay, and it was kind of the map around him that was not doing great as well. Whippo was still having some like uncharacteristically bad plays. Um, Inspired was a little bit invisible, I think, over the general course of the series. Um, but yeah, it's still good to see like Yon still playing pretty aggressive. Core JJ still like winning these lanes with him. Busio on the FlyQuest side though, he was kind of clapping some cheeks on this orange support pick. Um, I think it was the first 2 games. FlyQuest just locked in Senna Orn, and then they sent Senna top lane to be with whatever Blibbo was doing. In like this kind of pseudo lane swap. Like I think it technically counts, but it also maybe doesn't. Just because like the AD carry here is actually the support, and the support is just it's supporting a different lane, so it's like a little silly. And then this Orn still getting a decent bit of solo XP. He was definitely contributing a fair bit. He was having a lot of actually great ultimates to get some of these team fights into good positions for FlyQuest to win. Um, so that's the FlyQuest read on the meta. Team Liquid, they're still playing their own way. They still have their own slight meta adaptations, but it's actually really good to see like the teams that were the 2 best teams in spring carrying over and still looking pretty competitive with each other at the very start of summer, despite FlyQuest like fucking exploding at MSI. But yeah, Team Liquid won the series 2-1, and we will look forward to what both these teams have in store for us next. I'm looking forward to seeing Quad and what he can do. I'm looking forward to see if fucking Whippo can step the fuck up and stop shitting the bed all the time. And I am looking forward to Masu and Busio's further development, right? On the Team Liquid side, really looking forward to just seeing more aggression still. Looking forward to seeing if they just keep playing their game and keep making things really fun and really messy. The second series of the week, Dignitas versus Cloud9, was actually a good series. Um, Dignitas was really bringing it. They were looking pretty good, actually, versus the C9 team. Now, does that say more about Dignitas and less about C9, or the other way around, right? I'm still pretty skeptical on Cloud9. They did win the series 2-1. Um, but I just wasn't super convinced by it, I guess. I was definitely rooting for Dig the whole time. Um, Berserker is definitely looking better than last split for sure. Jojo is just kind of looking like Jojo, but Thanatos, the new top laner, he's not looking so far like this amazing greatness he was supposed to be. He did play Camille in game 2, and that's one of the champions that I did say that I wanted him to I wanted to see him play. And I just wasn't super impressed. I actually kind of think the Camille game 2, was his most into game. Um, he was getting caught out on side lane like a lot over the course of that game. Very reminiscent of like Summit when he was the top laner for Cloud9, when he would just like, I mean, Summit in general, while he was in the LCS, where he would just like appear in a side lane somewhere, get his lane position wrong, and then randomly get caught out and die to like 3, 4 people for no reason. Um, Slight communication issues there as far as like telling him where he's supposed to be going, because there were some spots where like he had teleport up, so he could have like gone straight to a side lane and started exerting a little pressure and doing something while the team was setting up for something, and then Berserker could have like gone mid lane, caught that wave, and then moved with his team. But instead, Thanatos like went mid lane and then went to the side lane, so Berserker didn't have like a wave to catch to get a little more money in his pocket, and then like he was just kind of lost a little bit for a moment. Um, Maybe just some slight communication things. Maybe, hopefully, right? But on the other side of the rift, Dignitas was indeed like showing up, right? Uh, this team that has been playing together for like literally 2 weeks before this point, and meanwhile, Cloud9 has been playing for like 8 months minus their top laner, and even him, they still went to Korea. They had a boot camp with they're not Fearx, formerly Live Sandbox, right? They were at that training facility for like, was it 2, 3 weeks, a month maybe? I think it was like 3 weeks. Before coming back to NA and starting scrimming here. So like they've had a lot of time to work together. They've had a lot of time to clean up their act already, and they just haven't done it yet. They've had a lot of time to clean up their act, but they just actually haven't done it yet. You have to forgive me. I'm recording this at like 11:30 on Thursday. um, but yeah, on the other side of the rift, Jensen was having a really solid performance. Right, he was really showing like, yeah, there was like no reason Flybush to fucking drop me. Their drafts were just fucking ass, honestly. He was picking his champions. He was having a good time. He looked really good on the Hui. Sven was absolutely fucking cooking on the Varus champion. Um, he had like insane score lines in the first 2 games on it, at least. I think he went like no deathless. He went deathless in the first game, and then he was like 6-1 or something in the second game. That was like pretty close. Um, Excuse me. I am definitely really looking forward to seeing both of these teams develop. I am definitely looking forward to see if Thanatos fucking pulls a summit and just starts running it the fuck down. but he might save that for playoffs. He might save that for playoffs. Meanwhile, Dignitas actually, they're looking like they're getting better. They're looking like they're actually developing into a team. And this could be really exciting, right? We could see like peak Spica come back, right? We could see like the licorice from last year. He's still looking pretty decent now. And it might just take a smidgen of time before he gets to like fisting all the other top laners, like straight in the pucker. But I'm actually very much looking forward to seeing how both of these teams progress the rest of their season. Again, that is a C9 2-1 over Dignitas on our second series. Moving on to day 2 and match 3 of this past weekend, we have 100 Thieves versus NRG. So, this series was pretty disappointing because I'm an NRG fan. So, 100 Thieves won the series 2-0, and it was like just overall really, really clean. And like game 2, Energy had like a few early game moments where they were able to like clean up some like silly kills, but they still weren't able to transition any of that to any kind of meaningful lead anywhere. So, just for me, generally, it was pretty disappointing. If you're a 100 Thieves fan, then you're pretty fine with this, but um, NRG, they looked rather disjointed still. Like they're still trying to find their form, their communication. Overall, they're just kind of looking like a mess, right? Individually, the players individually looked better than last split for sure. Um, like Dokla wasn't getting fucking obliterated or anything. Contracts was uh, Contracts was set behind in the jungle a bit by some like silly shit that had happened, but he was able to kind of keep up in tempo, relatively speaking, and still have enough of a presence on the map to not like be useless. Um, Palafox is looking better than last split, so he's not just like absolutely fucking dying all the time. And the bot lane is still like looking pretty okay, right? Um, it's a little disappointing because I had heard from some folk that Energy was doing better in scrims than last split, but I mean it is scrims, right? It is. I'm always a purchaser of scrim bucks, and it never pays off. It is the one investment that will never pay off, I swear. Um, Over on the 100 Thieves side, though, Sniper was still doing his like normal aggressive shit. He doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. Um, Quit, he was cooking. He counterpicked a Tristana mid with an Ezreal mid, and then he had like a really, really solid game on it. Uh, it's actually really funny just to see like players whipping out random shit again. It's really enjoyable actually. Seeing the Ezreal mid pop out, it was just like it was pretty cool, I think. And speaking of the Champions River over here, he picked up the Zyra jungle for the first time in LCS ever? Question mark. But definitely at least first one this split. We'll see if anyone else follows in his steps and plays anything else like the AP junglers that are really strong right now. I think we had a couple Karthuses maybe this weekend. Um, but overall, 100 Thieves still seems to be working together relatively okay. And it looks like their drafts are actually doing better than they were in the playoffs last split. So we might actually see 100 Thieves being like a top 5 team before the end of this regular season, which is not very good for my power rankings, but it is what it is, right? So that is 100 Thieves 2-0 over NRG. Now, lastly, on to Immortals versus Shopify. Um, Immortals took the series 2-0. It's fucking fantastic. Finally, being an IMT fan is paying off. Holy shit. They actually looked like pretty clean most of the series. There was only like a couple smaller mistakes that Shopify was never actually able to capitalize on, so it didn't really matter in the end. Plus, the drafting overall was just better on the Immortals' side. I'm not sure like what Revan was trying to cook here, but um, he left the Skarner champion up 2 games in a row, and he tried giving Fate God the Rumble counter pick because Rumble is supposed to beat his ass a little bit early, get a decent farm lead, get ahead, and then just kind of shred him for the whole game. Fate God did get a farm lead, like 20 CS maybe in both games, and then he did nothing with it. So that, especially for me, is like just cementing Fate God as like the worst top laner in the league at the moment. Um, which is unfortunate, but someone's got to be there, right? It's someone's job to be last place as much as it is someone's job to be first place. So, it's not great. Also in the bot lane, Bevoy and Zazel were kind of muted, right? Tactical was actually having pretty good games. He even got this Zeri game too, and he was just kind of like fucking around, just having a good time with it. Um, but yeah, overall as a team, Immortals actually looking clean. Scrim rumors from last split finally coming true? Question mark on a stage game. Now, that's not like to say that Immortals was completely invisible on stage last year. They still somehow managed to come in last place despite actually having like a lot of competitive games with everyone, especially in the second half of the split. But it just got pretty unfortunate for them by the end of it all. But it's pretty good now to see that they're looking like with the slight coaching staff change, um, they're coming together more cohesively and are able to take that on stage already at this point. I don't think other. I don't think. Well, the Skarner wasn't actually like a super big point in why the team won these 2 games. It was more Discarner winning was more of a side effect of the team winning in the first place. But I don't think other teams are going to be drafting as carelessly against Immortals, just because we at this point have proven that Castle's pretty good. Tactical has a lot of champions available that are pretty comfortable. Excuse me, and Mask is like catching up into like the top half of the league as far as mid laners and is able to perform at a pretty solid level. This Immortals team could also look up into a top 5 scenario if they keep this level of performance, right? And on a good day, even, their next matchup is Cloud9. I'm pretty down on Cloud9 right now, and I'm pretty up on Immortals right now. I mean, do the math, right? So that was an Immortals 2-0 over Shopify Rebellion. A bit of him. Oh, let's talk about like Tomio for a second. He was not having a good time. He was not having a great time. I think they tried him on like the Sejuani or something, or was it Maokai? They tried him on like some kind of tank engagey kind of thing in the first game, and then that didn't work out. So they're just like, yeah, you know what, just like fucking play Kindred, whatever. And neither game he was actually able to have like a good impact because of Immortals team play being pretty successful, um, not falling for a bunch of ganks, not like so. It was not a good first series for him, and hoping that he's able to look better in the future. But uh, Shopify is definitely looking like the last place team at the moment, which is super solid for Immortals fans. Now, lastly, for our match predictions, day one, match one, we have Cloud9 versus Immortals. So, uh, a little bit of a neat thing. Thanatos and not Mask, Thanatos and Castle had played against each other in the Korean academy system a few times, right? So it's neat to see them have like a little rematch, I guess. I don't actually know how that was going in the past, but you would have to assume the way everyone talks about Thanatos that he is supposed to be the better player here. Um, Cloud9 versus Immortals. Again, I'm low on Cloud9 and high on Immortals right now, right? I think that Immortals, if they have good drafts, which C9 doesn't really look like they're having yet, it's possible for Immortals to take this one if they can capitalize on like just the way Cloud9 is drafting and either communicating or not communicating, right? Last week, they caught Thanatos out in the side lane a lot. So maybe if Immortals is able to do the same thing and get one of their players like pretty fed, there's a solid chance that they could run away with a game or two. But on the other hand, we have Immortals, or we have Cloud9 that just has JoJo and Berserker, right? If JoJo just gets something that he can just like put the team on the back and it's over, and if Berserker gets like 20 minutes to scale, it's free, right? Um, I'm really actually hoping for a lot of fighting in the bot lane, just to see like what the fuck happens. And I'm looking for where the junglers are going to put their attention, right? I'm looking to see if Blabber will give Thanatos attention early game, or like if that's going to be his first gank of the game to cement Thanatos's like dominance in the lane that should be his lane, just to give him like that little early lead and make sure that he doesn't ever have to go back up there. But it could be a really volatile bot lane. I could see like something really silly happening, like Kaisa versus Callista. It could be like Kaisa Nautilus versus Callista Leona or some shit. And that could get really ugly really quick. So I'm going to pick Immortals to win this one, but I'm also probably just going to be wrong because Immortals isn't ready to do it yet. Granted, I think they were like 1-1 against the last split, I think. But who knows? This is the prediction. I'm going Immortals 2-1 for our first match. Our second match then is 100 Thieves versus Dignitas. So 100 Thieves, they were absolutely cooking. They had some silly champ picks happen again. They're very flexible. Golden Glue is like really comfortable drafting for this team. Dignitas, on the other hand, they might not be ready to play with each other's like silly picks if they have any. So we can pretty much expect everyone to be on what they were on last week. So we'll expect like Licorice is on some kind of tank probably. If he gets Poppy, then it'll be really easy. Jensen's gonna play a Jensen champion. Oriana Hui is right there. Hui is still pretty powerful right now. Um, yeah, maybe we might get like if you do get a Poppy in the top lane and we do get like something very volatile bot lane, like if we just get like Varus, Nautilus or some shit, maybe we'll see Spica's Lilia pop out because I think I think actually a lot of the pros are wanting to play these AP champions that clear really really fast and then just fuck around and find out all over the map. Um, so I would like to see another 9-man sleep happen, just like for absolutely no reason. It would be really funny. um, my hope again is that Dignitas will win the series, but the 100 Thieves technically looks like the better team at the moment, perchance. But they were also up against a struggling NRG that wasn't able to actually capitalize on any of the advantages that they did find. So, how much is 100 Thieves looking good versus NRG looking bad, right? Hard to tell. But I am going to predict this one to be a Dignitas win 2-1, and it should be a really close 3-game banger the whole way through. Going on to day 2, our Sunday matches. First up, we have FlyQuest versus NRG. Again, FlyQuest was looking pretty solid versus Team Liquid. Like, not super proactive, which maybe might hurt them against NRG. Because NRG does want to be a little more proactive. They do want to, like, make shit happen. So, FlyQuest feels a little more reactionary at the moment. It could change, of course. They're doing their scouting, so they might identify, you know, if they all just like, if they all just like randomly show up somewhere and just like fuck shit up for no reason, it's very possible that they could just run the game over from there. I think I have to give this one to FlyQuest first off, but I am at least hoping that it's a 2-1 series where NRG looks like they have a little bit more of their mojo back. Whew. Lastly, our Team Liquid versus Shopify match. This one should just be an absolute blowout, I think. Like, Team Liquid should just absolutely flush Shopify down the toilet. And that could just, that should just be it, right? Team Liquid's looking super strong. Shopify isn't looking very good. They have the weakest solo laners at the moment. They have a brand new jungler who doesn't look very great right now. And it's just the bot lane that has a chance, but even they weren't able to really show up last week. Ooh. I'm predicting a very bloody bot lane, one way or the other. I think Yawning Core will look for a lot of fighting, and as long as they don't give Bvoy like a champion he's super comfortable on, like the Varus, it should be pretty easy. Yeah, that it should just be an absolute explosion here. Team Liquid 2-0 here. And that should be it for this very late, very rushed edition of LCS Breakdown. We're gonna get this uploaded tonight and hopefully published sometime tomorrow morning, perhaps. I say tomorrow, I mean Friday morning, the day before LCS. So, oh no, this is the really fast turnaround week too, isn't it? Shit. I think this is the week where our games are Saturday, Sunday, and then our games are immediately played again on Thursday, Friday. So we're gonna struggle a little bit maybe, because work this week has been kicking my ass, and I've just been super busy. Plus, I've been on call, so I've had like to randomly leave my house at like 8 p.m. when I wanted to record to go back to work and go do something. So, oh well. Rip and rest. Phew. Yeah, this has been episode 5 of LCS Breakdown. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and I'm super sorry for being tired. I'll catch you guys next time on LCS Breakdown. Bye bye.